Getting into bow hunting is one of the most challenging and rewarding ways to hunt. Now, I'm not knocking on rifle hunters. Rifle hunting is awesome too, but with bow hunting, you have to get a lot closer to the deer. Your season is a lot longer, and that just means you get to spend a lot more time in the outdoors. With the pandemic going on and the increasing demand for healthier food sources, more people are getting outdoors than ever before, whether that's fishing or hunting. Hunter participation has been on the decline forever, especially with bow hunting, so it's an awesome thing when people are becoming more interested in it. Except that means there are a lot of inexperienced hunters out there. Now, if you're just getting into bow hunting, hopefully you've got a good mentor to go out in the field and learn with. If not, you are bound to make a ton of mistakes, and sometimes even when you do have a mentor with you, you will make mistakes. And mistakes could lead to frustration, and that frustration could lead to you just giving up hunting altogether, and I definitely don't want that. So in this video, we're going to go over some very common beginner bow hunting mistakes to help you avoid getting into that frustrated period. I want to see you have the most success you can have as early on into your hunting career, so you will be hooked for life. But before we go over these common mistakes, do me a favor, and if this is your first time on my channel, hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that bell icon so you can be notified every time I upload a video. Also, if you are interested in helping to support the channel, check out the link below to my Teespring store where you can get some t-shirts. And the first mistake that a lot of beginner bow hunters make, and well, just hunters in general make, is they have some pretty unrealistic expectations. If you're new to hunting, most likely you've been watching a lot of hunting shows, whether that's big productions on TV or some YouTube channels. And there are definitely some great ones out there, but there are also some out there that might make you think that you should expect to see just fields of deer and that you need to wait for that 130, 140 inch buck to come by. And while I'm all for passing young bucks, unless you're hunting with somebody on somebody's property and they've got specific requirements that have to be met before you're allowed to shoot a specific buck, you need to not worry about how big that buck is. Early success is way more important. There are stages to hunting, and most new hunters are in that, if it's brown, it's down stage. And, well, there's a lot of people who never go out of that because they just enjoy getting out there hunting. They don't care how big that buck is. They don't care how big that doe is. They just enjoy hunting and getting good, high-quality meat, and that is perfectly fine. All hunters should start out that way because, like I said, early success is way more important than the size of that deer. And I think social media is kind of to blame for that. Well, I don't even think social media just by itself is to blame for this, but everybody gets wrapped up in how many inches there are on that antler, and that's not what hunting is all about. And as you get more experience, you can start narrowing down the opportunities that you do take. Maybe you limit yourself to only taking mature deer or bucks that are only 4.5 years old or older. Whatever that is, it's just, in the beginning, focus more on successful hunts than on trophy size. And the second mistake that a lot of newbie bow hunters make is they practice nowhere near enough. New bow hunters typically have a lot of bad habits, whether that's target panic or relying too much on your rangefinder if you have one. There are plenty of things you can do, plenty of ways you can practice to help get over these things. Practice blind bale firing to help your form and to cure you of that dreaded target panic. Practice judging distances without your rangefinder because a lot of times you won't have the chance to range your target right before you take the shot, or you might not even have a rangefinder at all. You also need to practice real hunting situations. One of the best investments that you can make is to get a quality 3D target. It's very different shooting at a 3D target than shooting at a square one that's got different circle targets on it. Practice shooting at that 3D target from different ranges, different angles, and even practice holding your bow back for different lengths of time before you take that shot. What happens a lot is you will have a deer in your range and you will draw your bow back when you have the least chance of getting spotted by that deer. And then that deer will step behind cover, it'll turn an angle you didn't expect, and it just takes away your shot opportunity. And then you can't really let down your bow because there's a good chance that deer will see that. So you have to hold it. And that could be 5 seconds, 10, or even longer. And then when you're holding that back and your muscles get fatigued, it becomes even harder to take an accurate, ethical shot. Now, as you get more experience, you'll learn when you should and should not draw your bow, so you don't have to hold it as long as you would if you drew at the wrong time. But before you get to that point, you're going to end up making those mistakes. So if you practice for those worst case scenarios, you'll be more prepared when they actually show up in the real world. And the third mistake that beginner bow hunters make, or beginner hunters in general make, is not understanding how important prevailing wind direction is. This is something that I didn't learn as quickly as I should have. I would hunt in a spot that I thought would be perfect, think that my scent control was on point, and then I would see a deer, it'd flick up that nose, snort at me, and run away. And while I knew the importance of scent control, I foolishly thought that by using scent elimination detergent and spray that I didn't have to worry about the wind as much, and that is a huge mistake. Really what it was I fell for the really good marketing of the hunting industry, and it does not matter if you use the best scent elimination technology out there, at some point that prevailing wind is going to give you away. Don't rely on your scent control, those scent elimination products, as your main defense against a deer smelling you. Those are actually your backup. Knowing where your potential scent is blowing is going to help you decide where to hunt and how to get to that stand. How you get to and from your stand is just as important as where your stand is, if not more. Think about these things when you're planning your next hunt, and it will go a long ways to helping you have more success. And the fourth mistake that beginner bow hunters make is they rely way too much on scents and attractants. Scent attractants like those buck bombs and that magic dust might work for you, but to rely on them to bring a deer to any given hunting spot is just wishful thinking. Personally, I think that unless it's estrus during the pre-rut and rut stage, then it's just a waste of money. I really don't think that some puff of vanilla smoke that lasts about 20 seconds is going to mean the difference between you having a successful hunt and going home empty-handed. Save your money and find a spot that the deer were going to potentially go through anyway. Hunting can get expensive enough as it is. So that was 4 beginner bow hunting mistakes. If you have any more mistakes that you've made and you're willing to admit them, leave them down in the comments below. Hit that like button if you like this video, share it if you found it helpful, and make sure that you are subscribed so you can stay informed.